A lady was talking about a 9-year-old in her neighborhood. That nine-year-old girl that was being abused, sexually abused in her own home, with her father there, her parents there, but they didn't know that this girl was being abused. Good morning. So today our topic is the self-blame trap. As we all know, we've been coming since for like 3 months now, talking about what we have been through and how we're going to heal through it. Last month we talked about violation, how people get violated without even knowing that they're being violated, and they just deal with it feeling like it's a normal thing, and their spouses or their partners keep violating them, abusing them, but they don't see it as abuses. They see it as a normal life that they live. So today we're actually talking about the self-blame. So some of us, we get trapped into this self-blame attitude where we feel like whatever happened to me, I caused it. I know I have a cousin that actually was being abused by her husband, constantly using her as a punching bag. And she reached out to me and told me, hey, this is what's going on with me. And then when I asked her, so what is going on? Are you don't want this guy to kill you? Why don't you just give him space and see if it's gonna cool off a little bit? The answer she gave to me was, well, I caused it. It's my fault that he hit me. And I asked her, how is it your fault? Well, he said something to me and I said something back to him and he hit me. I said, well, but that's not the first time that he's ever done that. So that means that all the times that he's been hitting you, it's him saying something to you and you saying it back to him. And she said, well, yeah, most of the times. And then most of the times he just comes back from work or from somewhere and then he will just descend on me. I said, this is not a healthy relationship. I'm not saying leave your partner. I'm not saying go, but just give him space so that he will realize that what he's doing to you, it's not normal. That is not a normal relationship. That is not how to live your life. And the reason why I brought this one up is sometimes we blame ourselves. I did that. With what happened to me, like I said previously, it started happening when I was 6 years old. And it still like brings tears to my eyes when I remember how this whole thing started. And okay, so I'm going to deviate a little bit. One of my friends sent me a video yesterday. A lady was talking about a 9-year-old in her neighborhood. That nine-year-old girl that was being abused, sexually abused in her own home, with her father there, her parents there, but they didn't know that this girl was being abused. And it was like, I think the abuse lasted for like 2 years before someone else, a stranger, noticed that something was happening to this girl. Maybe she talked to the stranger, maybe she said something, I don't know. But it was a stranger that actually found out that there was something going on with this young girl and called the police, and that was how this whole thing was uncovered. She couldn't tell anybody. I don't know if she was scared of her abuser. I don't know if she was ashamed. But my thing is, she is a 9-year-old girl. I don't think she should be ashamed of anything. She didn't cause anything. But this brings us back to our topic, the self-blame. If I didn't talk to the girl, I only saw the video. But believe me, if you go to ask this little girl what had happened, I promise you, she will find a way to blame herself for what had happened to her. Because that's what a lot of us do. I don't know if it's like a way of comforting ourselves so that we don't feel the weight of what had happened. I just don't know, because I did it too. I was 6 years old when this whole thing started, and then when I became a little matured, I think about 8 or something, when I think about it, I feel like, well, I think I must have caused it. A 6-year-old, when you dress up, You don't even think about. I remember dressing up like I wear my little dress, but it's basically a blouse because it's like this shirt. But I mean, I'm a child, that's what I wear. So I started blaming myself, maybe because I wore something like that. That was why he did that. And I'm just here to say that we shouldn't blame ourselves, because first of all, being a 6-year-old, I didn't know what's going on around me. I'm just a free child doing what other children were doing. And then this, I'm gonna call him a monster, looked at this innocent 6-year-old and feel like, yeah, I can take advantage of this child. I mean, we shouldn't. I'm just here to say that don't blame yourself for whatever happened, whether it is sexually or physically, emotionally, mentally, whatever kind of abuse you have been through. Don't blame yourself, because sometimes we sit down and blame ourselves, and that is why a lot of people that have been through abuses, they go through depression, some of them commit suicide because they keep blaming themselves for what had happened to them. Some people blame God. In my situation, yeah, I blamed myself, but I blamed God too, because I looked at it like, hey, I'm a child of God. I grew up in church, serving God, doing that. Why would he close his eyes and let this person do this? And then this person did it, and it's like he opened the door for other ones to come in and take advantage. So I blamed a lot of people, but the truth about it is, it's not my fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. We all sit and blame ourselves, but we shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be. If we should blame anybody, it should be those people that are taking advantage. I don't know if you remember, I was telling you another video that someone sent to me too, because since I started this program, it's like whenever anybody sees anything, they send it to me. Yeah. And it was a 14-year-old. Her mother sent her to go deliver something to her uncle, her mother's brother. And then she went to give whatever they gave to her uncle, a trusted uncle, not like a stranger, not a stranger, not a neighbor, a trusted uncle, a blood relation. And this full-grown man grabbed this little girl and raped her. A child, 14-year-old. It's really like upsetting that nobody is doing it, and I don't know what kind of demon that is possessing all those people that are doing this. They don't have conscience. And that is why that we shouldn't blame ourselves for what had happened to us. Let's say, for example, the 14-year-old, she was just going on an errand, which could be like it's been happening. Like mom would tell her, hey, go give this to uncle, not knowing that uncle has been planning on a good day that he's going to do his evil deed. It's just terrible. It's terrible. It's awful, and that is why we all should learn not to blame ourselves. It's not easy to not blame yourself. Just like the story I told about the lady that her husband beat up all the time, and she kept saying, yeah, it's my fault. It's gonna continue being your fault until you die from it. So it is not your fault. Don't blame yourself. Don't get into depression for something that happened to you that that you couldn't control. You didn't just plan on going in there so that you get raped or get abused. Nobody wants to be abused. And I sit here to tell each and every one of us that, first of all, it is not our fault. And I was talking to someone this morning, and I said, oh yeah, it's a meeting that we have. And I almost said with victims of abuse. No, we're not victims. We're survivors. We survived it. Those people that did all this to us, they thought we were not going to survive it. They thought it's gonna kill us. No, it's not going to kill us. It's going to make us. And that is why I want to empower each and every one of us to turn this pain into power. We're going to triumph through our trauma. It's not going to be a trauma anymore. It's going to be a triumph for us. So please do not self-blame yourself. Don't blame yourself. Don't blame yourself. I'm not going to blame myself anymore. And then we're going to go through this workbook step by step, and then we will also fill out the blanks and then walk through the questions as well. And then if you have anything you want to say, we can go ahead and say it. But before we go through this whole thing, I'm going to turn my camera off so that she will share her story if she's okay sharing it, since she's coming for the first time.